Before we really get underway today, it's worth talking about the tools of the trade for doing a good drywall finish. And the first thing that you need to know is you can't just take drywall compound, which I have here. It's called all-purpose joint compound. And I have the 62-pound bucket here. I know that sounds like a lot, but it goes pretty fast. You can't just take this drywall compound, this mud, and push it up and fill in where the wall meets the ceiling or any kind of joint, or you'll have to have cracks. So you really need to use paper tape, which I have here. And you can see I have a good sized roll of it. And the nice thing about this tape is when they manufacture it, not only can it be applied flat in the seams on the walls here, where the two wall boards meet, but it also has a bend line in the middle there that you see, and you can put that up against the lower part against the wall and the upper part against the ceiling. So this tape is indispensable. I've often used fiberglass tape, and I will be using that as we get over to the over into the shower stall there, because that you know, we might be putting a special kind of mortar on that to sort of set that in and smooth the wall. But for the regular drywall work, we want to make sure we have the seaming tape, and I think that the paper tape works better than the fiberglass tape, the fiberglass mesh. And you should also have what's called a mud pan, and I have one here that's made of stainless steel, and it's really nice to have because I can mix up a batch of the drywall mud here and take that up the ladder with me and put it on and then apply the tape. You do not want to just use the joint compound, what they call the drywall mud, right out of the container. You want to add a little liquid to it to enhance the spreadability of it, so it flows a little better. Not to make it gooey, but a little thicker than icing that you would put on a cake. A great pair of scissors is also indispensable too for cutting the tape. So what we do with the joints is we apply the compound at the ceiling and at the wall, and then we go back and fit our tape on it. We take our flat-bladed putty knife here and run it along, and we set that tape into the mud and then scrape off the excess. And then when it's dry, we'll come back and overcoat that with a coat of the drywall compound, and then we'll be sanding that down, and that'll be the finish on that. So that's the way that we do it. Everywhere we have a seam, we need to tape it. And on the corners, we want to have a little bit of a special treatment because they have to be able to take the wear and tear of being hit and possibly banged into by wheelchairs or by shoes kicking it. So we have to make sure that we have special treatment for the outside corners, not the inside corners that go in, but the outside corners that stick out. Okay? So having said that, it's time to get on with the job. Okay, I don't know how well you can see. We don't have the best lighting today, but I've laid down a track of drywall mud up here, and I'm just setting the lower part of the seam here. I lay that tape into that seam, and I push up real good to make sure it's really perpendicular to the wall. And then I go back and catch the ceiling part and lay that into the drywall mud. And that helps seal it really well and get that set in to the mud. And then later I can come back and overcoat that, and it's really easy, and then sand it down. I don't want a lot of excess mud because I don't want to have to do a ton of sanding here. And when I get down to the end, I just snip the end there. Show you down here. I'll just grab the scissors here. Just get up here and just snip the end right here at the end. Just pull it out and snip that. And just lay that right up there, and then I'll take my flat blade, wide blade knife here, add some mud there and on the top, and then I'll continue drawing it from left to right. Now when it comes to the corner, I'll set a little more mud there, run it across the top and then go from right to left. And come back and add it below. And then we're setting real good. There's our first wall. Totally seamed at the ceiling line. Okay guys, I'm in the shower stall. Looking here and you can see I've got the ceiling pretty well first coated now. And the trick is going to be to make sure everything's really square over, especially over here where the shower is going to be tiled. We want to make sure everything's straight up and down and we have really good corners for setting the tile. And then of course we'll be waterproofing over top of that too. We have the waterproofing and everything. So all the ceiling's been set everywhere else. It's now time to go around and catch some of the seams here. Some of the lateral seams we have, and then come back and catch the corners and finish up what hopefully is going to be a very, very productive day. We have to also close in that and get that first done, but you can see where the light used to be. We've got that all pretty well set up where the closet. We changed some stuff for the closet. That's all filled in pretty good, and of course we'll be putting a skim coat over everything. Once we get this all second coated and sanded down, we'll be coming back with some pretty liquidy mud and coming over and skim coating the whole ceiling to give it a nice uniform appearance. So I'm going to keep rolling on here guys, but going along really well. Just about finished the shower stall, doing the initial taping and mudding. And I've used this, this block of wood here as part of a 2x4 to make sure I'm ramming that in real good with the hammer before I'm doing the final screw down of the cement board, just to make sure we have the squarest corners possible. So I'm going to just keep working around now and catch a couple of these seams over here. I've got to add some more filler material for that thin strip down there. Also one underneath of the window down here. You can see I have to put a little bit in there, but mainly about 80% of the first mudding and taping is done. So it's about 2 o'clock, 2:30. Keep rolling on. Ooh, okay guys, well I am cooked. I don't know if you can see the drywall dripped on me, but basically got everything done today I wanted to do. The initial seaming done. Laterally here, I got a lot of the vertical seaming done in here. The shower pretty well set. Yeah, so I'm pleased about the progress today. You know, the bottom line is, guys, nobody likes to do taping and mudding when it comes to drywall work. It sucks. It's messy. It's not glamorous. It's not fun to watch, but it's critically important to doing a good job and making sure everything is going to be seamed well. So when you have a wall like we have over here, where the medicine cabinet and the sink are going to be on, you want to make sure that the joints are very smooth. And the same thing with our corners. We want really tight, good corners with no waviness and no buckling in and out. So pleased with today's progress. Going to do a bit clean up now and get washed up. So as usual, thanks for being here today. And I think Wednesday we're going to be second coating and trying to finish up the get some of the waterproofing done on the shower stall. We're going to come back with some special fiber tape, the Kerdi seam tape, K-E-R-D-I, Kerdi Schluter system seam tape. Put that on with a little bit of the waterproofing there and get all those seams coated good. So, okay, thanks so much for being here today as renovating the casa bathroom rolls on.